Well, welcome to the Jahmyr Gibbs show. Just kidding. It's MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast. I'm Ben Raven. He's Kory Woods.
What up?
Don't mind us. We're just cracking our post-game ginger ales. Yes, they are ginger ales.
Yes, they are ginger ales. Seagram's ginger ales.
The Lions just won a wacky one against the New York Giants, 34-27 in overtime. Story of the day is obviously Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, unbelievable.
I'm still just in awe at what this guy can do anytime he touches the ball. He's like a human he's the football version of Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel. Just anytime he touches the ball, something special is going to happen. It's not a matter of if it's just going to happen, it's when, and it happened when the Lions needed it most today.
Yeah, I mean, the 69-yard touchdown on the first play from overtime was more than enough to prove his worth, but he also ripped off a 49-yard touchdown to answer the second trick play touchdown of the day by the Giants to make it 24-27 with about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. He also had the touchdown catch in the first half, extending for the end zone. That was a three-play, 61-yard drive. That made it 17-14, and then one play in overtime, and he's gone. One play. One play.
I'm like, okay, you get out there, try to get the offense going, maybe get into a good rhythm, and cool, not leave a lot of time left on the clock for them to be able to do anything. Gibbs just said, I'm just going to go ahead and make a house call right out the gate. And
unreal.
It was just, wow.
Yeah. Gibbs said before the play in overtime, St. Brown said, hey, touchdown here, and he just said bet. And that was it. And a little more context from St. Brown after the game. He said he told Penei Sewell, we're coming to the right side. I don't know the play at this point. Sure enough, we call a play. I come to get a block, and all I hear is the crowd go loud. The crowd went loud because he went 69 yards to the house. He also hit 22.17 miles per hour, the fourth fastest speed by any ball carrier this season. And Gibbs has 3 of the top 4 recorded speeds by a ball carrier this season now. Whoosh, as he said. Gibbs was asked about the play, and he said whoosh.
That sounds like Gibbs because he's a man of few words,
yes.
But just to the point. There is a reason he is named Sonic. It is not a tongue-in-cheek nickname. I hope I'm using that phrase correctly right now. But when that guy has an open lane, it's over.
It's over.
And it's over. It is just amazing to see just how fast he is. And here's the crazy part. You can still make an argument he's not the fastest guy on the team.
Yeah.
And he's that blazing when he gets out in space.
Yeah. Jared Goff said about 5 yards into that overtime run, he put his hands up because he knew he was gone. Just some more stats on Gibbs. Obviously, the overall stats are unbelievable. 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, caught 11 passes for 45 yards and a touchdown. He had 100. He's not just a speed guy either. 184 yards, and both touchdowns came between the tackles. That's the most yards by any player this season between the tackles. Had a 73.3% rushing success rate and hit more than 15 miles per hour on 7 runs today against the Giants.
That's not real.
It's not real. And on a day where the Lions trailed for literally the entire game in regulation, he was the cheat code time and time again. Seriously, I just, and it's such a weird game to talk about. It's such a weird game to write about because, obviously they weren't at their best. Obviously, they got hit for 2 trick play touchdowns, gave up the first 300-yard passer of the season. That's an impressive feat, but Jameis Winston, 363 yards, caught a 33-yard touchdown pass. I mean, the Giants, we talked about it this week. A lot of people replied to it tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, yeah, BS, whatever, coach speak. These Giants find ways to make games interesting. This game was a hell of a lot more than just interesting. The Lions trailed by 10 after the first quarter. They were down by 10 at one point in the fourth quarter, man.
We were on the verge. We said this when we were next to each other. We were on the verge of having a different tone altogether about this podcast. About now, it was going from a season-ending loss to a wow. They still have a chance at doing something special win. It's any given Sunday. Yeah. Things can happen. I mean, as we speak right now, the Dallas Cowboys just beat the Philadelphia Eagles. which is
they were down 21 too,
which is crazy. And they were down. It's just one of those weird things. I know we're going to talk more about it later, but just this was a win they needed more than anything to kind of get things going back in the right direction. I'm not so sure if they did that all the way because they have a lot of stuff from this one they need to clean up going into Thursday's game against the Packers. But hey, we were going down to the press conference. Lomas Brown looked at us and said, "Don't apologize for a win."
No.
Lions should not apologize for walking out with this one.
No, and what we said the other day was they can't suffer bad losses. Bad losses would be to the Giants. It would be to the Cowboys in 10 days or whatever back here at Ford Field. Just because the Packers and the Rams are 2 out of the next 3 games now. So you needed this one. And honestly, like, nobody should be feeling amazing after this win, long-term thinking, but a win is a win, and this was a resilient win because it just was not looking good. I mean, I wrote 10 different game stories in the final 6 minutes of that game. That's the most stressful bleep possible is when that's going on. But but it's kind of like what Dan Campbell said of the game. As bad as it was at times, their best players stepped up when they needed it most. St. Brown had 2 more drops, including one that led to an interception. Still finished with 9 catches, 150 yards, I believe it was, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know, the defense got hit hard on some passing plays, got hit hard on some trick plays. 4th and goal with the game on the line, got to stop. Jack Fox, punt god. It's kind of reminiscent of what last week could have been if they would have played the field position battle when you have a punter who can frickin' drop it inside of the 8-yard line every single frickin' time. Gibbs. What else can you say about Gibbs? The offensive line, four starters were questionable entering today's game. It wasn't the pass protecting game for the ages, but when you run like that, the offensive line is at least doing its job for the first 5 seconds before Gibbs leaves everyone in the dust.
Before he became public enemy number 1 this season for the Lions, I was talking to Louis Riddick.
Oh, yeah.
And he said Jahmyr Gibbs has MVP-like potential.
Yeah.
You saw it today because this is a guy that they leaned on heavily to get through a lot of tough spots. And time after time, even when some of those passes to him just did not make sense for the flow of the offense, he continued to answer the bell when called. And I mean, this is why they made the moves they made to go get him. And just another credit to how he continues to play, no matter who's calling the players or whatever.
Yeah.
Gibbs just finds a way to make his worth known for this team. And I again, just seeing some of those runs and how he just gets out there is just impressive.
He breaks tackles. He runs hard. He makes people miss with speed.
That one run earlier I can't remember who it was. He literally the guy just crumbled right when he went right into him.
Yeah. He said he felt like somebody, I think it was and then on the 49-yard touchdown too, he said he felt someone go for like the peanut punch and he just kind of laughed it off. And he's like, he ain't getting me down. It's just, and in a weekly tradition after games, I'll give away my column what it's going to be. This is the Jahmyr Gibbs show. With Sam Laporta down, Goff is tunnel vision on St. Brown right now. He's also pretty tunnel vision on Gibbs too. But that's a good thing. Goff admitted after the game he thought he threw it to Gibbs a couple too many times. Yeah, maybe he did, but get the ball in the hot hand. Yeah. I'll live with checkdowns all day when it's in that guy's hands. And I love David Montgomery. He has a role here. He should have a role here, especially on blitz downs when they need somebody to block in the backfield. That is Gibbs' weakest point of his game without question. But it is time to ride Jahmyr Gibbs to the finish line. More than St. Brown, more than the passing attack, more than anything else, everything about this offense needs to go through Jahmyr Gibbs. That when they're at their worst, when they're at their best, it needs to be about Gibbs. And that's more or less what I'm going to be writing about for tomorrow morning, just because he's a cheat code. That was a cheat code. That was a cheat code. You can do so many different things from him. If you're struggling to run between the tackles, get him outside. If you're struggling to run, find ways to throw him the ball. So I don't care if it's swing passes or checkdowns. He is so fast, electric, doesn't get enough credit for how hard he is to get to the ground. That's one of the best players in the NFL.
Yeah, I will say this. Yeah, I don't get mad at the swing passes. It was just sometimes when some of them were called, I'm like,
Well, it was like 4 or 5 in a row. It felt like there, and you're like,
yeah,
oh
and
man,
I'm
there's
just
really
like,
nothing else.
yeah, that's where I'm just like, okay, a little bit of variety so you don't seem so predictable. But again, when you have a guy that can put up stats like that, it's never a bad thing to get the ball in his hands. And one thing I did like about the usage of David Montgomery today, I thought it could have been a little bit more, but I was glad to see him get used in those short yardage situations to pick up the first. I think that is a guy who Gibbs is the most dynamic runner they have for sure.
Yeah.
But David Montgomery is dynamic, and he's a different type of runner that can also be bruising in between the tackles, that can also bounce outside and pick up those tough yards for you. So, but again, this was just a game where you just had to lean on your cheat code.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't care if it gets predictable. Lean on him. Like I said, I got all the respect in the world for Montgomery. He deserves to have a role in this offense, but it's got to be the Gibbs show, and it was today. 25 of Goff's 38 passes were to St. Brown or Gibbs. 25 of 38. Raymond had 2 catches on 2 targets. Brock Wright had 3 catches on 4 targets. Montgomery had 3 on 3. J-Mo did not have a catch on 3 targets. Had a 36-yarder wiped off on an illegal man downfield. And Tesla did not catch his only look either. I mean, that's life without Sam Laporta. That's what I meant when I wrote 3 things we learned last week when I say they missed Sam Laporta. It wasn't a dig at Brock Wright. It's a dig at that takes a fundamental part out of your offense. And with Laporta gone, Goff is looking St. Brown's way. It needs to be – I'd like to see Gibbs with 10 targets every single game from here on out. Whatever you can do to get him the ball, get that man the ball. Your offense is struggling. You got questions about your offensive line? Get the ball to Gibbs.
Yeah.
Get the ball to Tucker. Hey, Arnold. I just – this was such a stupid game. This was a truly stupid game. Like,
it was really – it really felt like this was about to be on the verge of being one of those bad taste stays in your mouth losses that was going to haunt them for the rest of the season, because that was going to be a potentially season-altering loss.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah. They won today, and they're still on the outside of the playoff picture because the Packers won. The Bears won. They needed this. I mean, they needed it. I don't care if it was against the 85 Bears or the 79 Buccaneers. They needed this one win today, and they got it. And the Giants have blown multiple fourth-quarter leads this season. They've blown multiple double-digit leads this season, and they managed to do that in one game here today. And the Lions talked about it all week. That team's going to fight. They're going to be right there. And the second they hit that double pass touchdown on the first drive of the game to go up 7-0, I was like, oh, they're pulling out all the stops. They're getting Jameis weird today. Then a freaking end-around touchdown pass to Jameis. Derek Barnes, after the game, was like, he wasn't even supposed to be in coverage on Jameis. He just noticed something weird was out the play. Unfortunately, he didn't make the tackle at the 10-yard line, the 8-yard line, or the 5-yard line, but still, like, he's lucky he was even there. But, yeah, they threw the kitchen sink at the Lions today, and it really kept them in the game. But just, yeah, it's such a stupid game.
It literally did not make any sense. I'm still trying to figure out how the heck they pulled it out.
Yeah.
With the way that the offense was going, the way that the secondary was getting torched. I mean,
yeah, it was bad for a little bit.
Wan'Dale Robinson was just –
he did.
He had himself a field day, and it just really felt like the Lions could not get out of their own way, and they just when it mattered the most, they just turned it on and imposed their will. And the thing about it is, you do not want to see them be in these many games, but in these type of games so many times. But people have to really understand, it's any given Sunday.
Yeah.
And like Derek Barnes said when we were talking to him, those guys get paid too.
Yeah.
And all the thing that mattered the most is that when the lights were bright, their playmaker stepped up, like Dan Campbell said. Yeah. And for me, I just think that they have to continue to lean on. Their guys are going to have to lean on them, like Jahmyr. Dave's got to step a little bit more too. They got to get him more involved. But Jamison Williams, when he gets the ball, he can't drop it.
Yeah, he had one tough drop.
Yeah, one tough drop. St. Brown, his drops are a little concerning. I've been hearing some stuff about the
weird.
wrist,
Yeah,
but his drops over the past couple of weeks. I mean, the numbers still show he was productive today, but the some of the drops that he had were uncharacteristic of him, where it could have got the Lions out of some tough spots they were in. So they can't have some of those repeat performances this Thursday when they play the Packers.
No, and they can't. They can't unless Gibbs has got another one of these in him. They cannot play like this again, or it's going to be trouble. It is.
You can't drop 3 division games.
No, they can't. It's just wild to see Winston with 366 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Harper and Robertson had a brutal first half. Wan'Dale Robinson was eating them alive, as you said. He finished 156 and a touchdown. But I got to give credit. Harper comes up with the big interception to give him a chance. The offense obviously did nothing with it. And the play that nobody's talking about is Robertson's pass breakup just before the game went to overtime.
That was huge.
I mean, that guy was open. I forget the receiver, but that guy was open, and Meek extended with absolutely everything in his soul to knock that pass down. So it's like even some of the guys that kind of stunk it up in the first half really responded well, just because the yardage is terrible, but the defense still forced 2 short field goals, got that clutch stop. Let's talk about that. The Giants going for it on 4th and goal late in that game with under 3 minutes to go, up 27-24. We might be talking about a different game if they take the points there. I understand wanting to be aggressive and trying to win that thing, especially as an interim coach, 2-9 team, go for it. But, I don't know, taking a 6-point lead would have been going for the kill the way the Lions offense was playing, because then all of a sudden they have to get a touchdown.
Yeah.
They can't run the ball. But, hey, it happened.
And also, too, we got to talk about it. That final Lions drive, they literally almost smoked the game with that management.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
I'm glad you brought that up. I almost forgot that. Yeah.
Spiking the ball, understandable.
Yeah, that was.
But spiking the ball and then you don't even get the call dialed in, and then you got to burn a timeout right after that.
Yeah, Campbell had some clarification on that after the game. I guess there was a snafu with the headsets. He couldn't talk to Goff.
I knew it had to be something because I'm like, that is not normal.
Yeah, he was not planning on calling a timeout there.
Okay. That makes sense.
I questioned the decision to spike it. There was a minute 10 on the clock.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath, get the call in, get your butt to the line, and don't burn it down.
Because I was still worried about the Giants with the way that they were playing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Them having too much time to be able to get in a field goal position and kick a game when the field goal was the clock expired.
Yeah, there was something about those moon balls from Jameis today that the Lions were just like losing them in the sun, to use a baseball term.
Their third downs, they would either be a moon ball or it'll be a penalty.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, if you could just get out your own way on that third down, they would have been fine.
Yeah, Campbell, where did it go? Campbell just said the headset messed up. He's like, I couldn't get the play into him. Like, there was nothing. And I looked back on it, and Goff is like tapping his helmet and screaming, and they're looking at the officials, and it's like, hey, got to call a timeout. And so that was that one.
Okay, that's fair.
I still question the spike. Right. Like, what? You got time. Take a deep breath. You kind of want to take a little time off. Yeah. You were about at midfield. Like, you're there.
I question the spike. I mean, I get it. I wouldn't have done it.
Only had one timeout. Yeah, I
wouldn't have done it, but I get it. It was just that calling the timeout kind of threw me off. Like, what happened there? But now you gave the clarity.
Yeah, technical mess up. That's a pretty bad. As Dan Campbell said, thank God it didn't cost us.
And that's what I was saying. That could have been a game-costing snafu. So
yeah,
good thing it didn't.
And we have to talk about Jake Bates' 59-yard career-long field goal to send the game to overtime.
I thought he missed it.
Just from our perspective, we have a terrible angle on the goalpost. I go off crowd noise while trying to watch the Jumbotron. 99% of that ball's time in the air, the crowd made me think it was missing. What did Tate Ratledge tell you after the game too?
He was just like, he's never seen a ball go like that. And then he when the curve back, he's like, oh, bleep.
Yeah. What in the world? He thought the Giants were celebrating and like, oh, here we go. I mean, what a crazy, if that thing doesn't curve in the last 0.5 seconds of that
different
kick,
game.
It's a
different outcome.
Just the fact that it took a 59-yard field goal to even get to overtime, and then you just come out and hit a 69-yarder to the house. I
think you also got to give Jake Bates some credit too. After he missed that kick in the that 45-yarder got blocked.
Yeah,
that 45-yarder got blocked here last time they played against the Vikings. He's been 6 for 6.
Yeah. Hey,
on a field goal. So definitely got to give him some credit. But yeah, a 59-yarder in that situation is just that's stones.
Onions.
Yeah, onions, stones, whatever you want to call it. Because that was again, not trying to throw too much on it, but that was a season-saving kick that still gives them life as the back end of the schedule goes on and they have to start playing some more of these division opponents, and they got a tough game Thursday against the Packers.
Yeah.
And they got the Cowboys, and then after that they have a tall task in the Rams.
Yeah, who played tonight. Yeah,
so they gotta go ahead and start stringing along some victories, and I don't want to quote everything Panay will say because I don't want to mess it up, but Panay, he did talk about this whole continuing their streak of winning games after a loss, like not having back-to-back losses, and he said it's time for them to start stringing some along. This is not sustainable.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they've won 14 straight games after a loss dating back to Week 9 in 2022. They're one away from tying the NFL record. Obviously, I'm sure you guys would hope to avoid needing that with a loss for sure. But yeah, the record is the Broncos did it between 84 and 88, and the Ravens did it between 2009 and 2012. So that's pretty elite company right there. For a second, I thought that streak was coming to an end today. I mean, for more than a second, for about 45 minutes of game time. And I know we should shift to the defense a little here. Like I said, they got hit on 2 big trick plays. They lost track of some moon balls. The run defense was solid.
Oh, yeah. They had them like 3.1 yards per carry.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised to see that Tracy had 20 rushes, only 62 yards. Singletary had 14 of his own for 47 yards, 39 carries altogether, 3.1 average. You take that anytime you get it.
Yeah.
And, Jameis, 18 of 36, but 366, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. For most of the game, the pass rush was non-existent.
Which I don't know if ESPN messed up on this stat or not.
Yeah.
I didn't recall Hutch getting 6 QB hits.
Yeah, QB hits are weird. I'm starting to question how we're measuring quarterback hits.
Yeah, because I'm like, where?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm watching the game. Where did he get 6 QB hits?
Yeah, I think the Lions had 10 pressures today is what I think I saw, and Hutchinson had 6 of them on 17 pass rushes. Oh, my goodness. Hutchinson had 6 pressures in the fourth quarter in overtime per NFL Pros Insights.
Wow.
That's straight from the Shield. That's pretty unbelievable. And while I was talking about the pass rush, big players making big plays.
Yeah.
Sack to end the game on 4th down. McNeil, who was pretty non-existent all game too, blows his guy into the backfield. Winston has to step up. Can't make a throw, and Hutchinson takes him down for the sack. The only sack of the game.
And that's what Hutch said. He said MLive had a great bull rush, and he said he said it verbatim just like that. When Winston had to step up, boom.
Yeah. It is kind of funny looking at that. Yeah, Hutchinson had 6 of the team's 7 quarterback hits. I remember 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to – it's kind of like when I question Pro Football Focus on what they credit as a catch allowed and, coverage. Like, what are we counting as quarterback hits?
Like, is it well after it's out his hand?
Yeah, what are we talking about here?
I'm like, 6?
6 is – yeah, I don't know. Because that pass rush, it helped clinch the game, but it wasn't there. It was not there.
Because I'm like, unless I'm not looking at this correctly – for basically most of the entire afternoon, Winston had a clean pocket to work with.
Yeah. Oh. And even when he didn't, that one time he was in the end zone, I think it was 3rd and 17, he still just threw one to the sky. It just, there is something to be said about Campbell saying teams are energized when they get an interim coach, especially when your interim coach is aggressive as hell like Mike Kafka was today. Winston is clearly an easy guy to rally around. They clearly were feeding off of him today. He played unbelievable. I mean, it was a quintessential Jameis Winston experience type of game.
That's why last year not last year, on the off season when they were talking about who to bring in for a backup QB. I'm like, hey, you hope he never has to touch the field, but Jameis Winston, if you gotta have a backup,
listen,
he's a guy I will put out there.
You know who would? I just had visions of Winston throwing to JMO. Just let me see how far I can get under this thing. Yeah. So that was in this touchdown catch, baller. Like that's all I got to say about that. Like that was so stupid because not only did the receiver have to literally tuck the ball and run away from pressure, then step back into the pocket and throw it, but Winston shakes off Derek Barnes like 3 times and spins into the end zone at like 2 miles an hour. Just a wacky, weird game. Obviously, some things to clean up. Need the offensive line to get healthy. Yeah. Awashika did not have his best game. I think he gave up 2 sacks just off the top of my mind that I can call from. But the run blocking was great. Obviously, Gibbs plays a factor into that with his breakaway speed. But the run blocking was great. I think Goff got sacked 3 times. He got hit 7 times.
I will say that is starting to concern me. How many hits Goff is taking?
Yeah, because it wasn't Brian Burns, it wasn't Dexter Lawrence, and it wasn't Abdul Carter. Well, Abdul Carter did have 3 quarterback hits, but like Brian Burns didn't get to him once. The guy's got 13 sacks in 12 games. So I'll take that. But it just kind of was the same old story. Like, some good, some bad from the other guys on the line, but Penei Sewell was baller once again, leading the way on a couple of those big Gibbs runs. Whenever you can get Sewell out in front of Gibbs, you're going to have a good day. And they did have a good day today, running the ball.
Yeah, we got to – I'm definitely going to, see what Dan's going to say about this pass protection because, the run blocking, it was better today, but –
for sure.
This thing falls off the rails quickly if they do not keep Goff upright, and I'm just concerned that he's just taking too many shots.
Yeah. No, the pressure has been a thing. It's absolutely been a thing, but we'll see. I'm really curious to see if Miles Frazier gets a chance, if they can. I don't know if they got another mahogany up their sleeve. I don't know. Awashika had a tough game today, and the defensive lines don't get easier because the Packers have what they have everywhere. And the Cowboys, say what you will about the Parsons trade, but they're pretty beefier in the interior, and that's the team that the Lions have had trouble with this year. So that's where I'm looking. One defensive standout outside of Hutch, Jack Campbell. He's a freak. Another double-digit games with tackles, another tackle for loss. He is the reason why these rushing attacks aren't doing anything. He deserves like 75% of the credit. He's unbelievable. They have a superstar linebacker in the making, and I feel like you guys know it already, but recognize him because he's just another one of those guys. When they needed to stop, their best players came up. The Giants trying to run on 3rd and 7 in overtime, no, not going anywhere.
Jack Campbell is he's a freak.
He's a Dan Campbell clone playing linebacker. I know Dan's an offensive guy, but like that's just his mentality seeps through that man.
He's the defensive version of Dan Campbell.
Yeah, that's very true. And I got to give some credit to Roy Lopez too.
Roy has been stepping up.
He has. Another, I think he only played 23 snaps, 6 tackles, tackle for loss, knocked down a pass on 3rd down. Wrote about him on Saturday. Nice little feature story on him. I pat myself on the back for calling that one. Hope you check that out. It was a cool little sit down with Roy, but yeah, we're running out.
I think you really covered it in the lead into the whole thing. Is just that there are a lot of things we can talk about, kind of nitpick on and go into the real nitty gritty about that. Kind of really doesn't make sense because it all centers back to around Jahmyr Gibbs.
Exactly. When I was leaving all the press conferences and talking with players after the game, we were all joking like, what else are we going to write about? It was Jahmyr Gibbs. It was Gibbs. I say that tongue in cheek. Obviously, there's stuff we're going to write about. Yeah. But it was like, what the hell? He's the reason they won today. He's the reason they had a chance. Jake Bates and Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. Seriously, a 59-yard kick. Seeing the end zone view from that, I was like, holy crap, the crowd noise makes so much sense now. But, golly, you take anyone you can get, especially in the crowded NFC North, in the ridiculous NFC playoff picture, because as Jahmyr Gibbs said, the NFC be hooping.
Yeah.
And they are hooping right now because the 7-4 Lions are the 8 seed on the outside looking in. NFL still gives them 76% to make it. We'll see what happens with the Bears. They obviously played an Aaron Rodgers-less Steelers today and squeaked out the win. They're freaking 8-3. Still end the season with them. That looks interesting. Packers beat the Vikings today. They're 7-3-1. I mean, you talk about big games. We'll be back here in 72 plus 24 plus not good at math, but like 3.5, 4 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Jeez, oh Pete.
That's going to be I think that this Thursday is actually, as of right now, the most important game of the season. I think that is at least as far as what you're trying to do in the division still, I think it still gives you a puncher's chance of winning the division.
You don't have a chance at winning the division if you get swept by the Packers.
Yeah, you got to win it. You have to.
You have to split that. You've got to sweep the Bears. You can't lose. I mean, the Vikings feel done, but and it's just, it's a Packers team that made this Lions look like not the Lions in week 1. It feels like a long time ago.
And that's what I'm wondering. There's going to be no Christian Mahogany, which is going to, suck for the line. But I'm wondering, can Dan Campbell get them riled up back to what week 1 felt like and then carry that over into, some type of momentum, some type of rally cry or bulletin board material heading into Thursday's game.
I am curious how they approach that because, I mean, they got the bricks beat off them in week 1. It was disgusting. It was ugly. I mean, without Isaac Tesla being a magician, they would have had only 6 points in that game. I mean, It was an offensive line meltdown. The defense was, it's just so weird coming off a game like this against the Giants that they were 13.5 or 14-point favorites and they needed a miracle from above to be in it. And then the Angels in the outfield type kick from Jake Bates at the end of the game. Danny Glover was guiding that thing through the uprights.
That's classic.
But it all comes back to Jahmyr Gibbs. And that's why I'm going to write about him in the column story tomorrow morning. It's like, you have got a cheat code back there. Get him the ball through the air, get him the ball on the ground, find spots for David Montgomery, but this is no longer a 1A, 1B situation. This is a 1-2 situation. All due respect in the world to David Montgomery. You deserve to get touches. You deserve to have a role on this team. You've had some big games this year too. But this, with Sam Laporta out, there needs to be even more Jahmyr Gibbs.
Not much to add on that.
Yeah.
I just hope that they, can continue to mix Monty in just so Gibbs won't have to shoulder so much of the load. But again, if it's never a bad thing to put it in that guy's hands as many times as you do, because look at what happens.
Gibbs needs 25 plus touches every game.
Is that
pass and run?
How many games is that this season he's had 200 yards from scrimmage? We were looking at it right now. It looks like
it's his second.
He had 218
against the Bucks. He had 172 against Commanders. He had 146 against the Eagles. And then, what was it, 289 today? 294, something like that today?
Nuts.
Yeah. I just, man. I mean, the offense is, Goff is tunnel vision on St. Brown on those second and third plays when they're clearly passing. And, hey, he's tunnel vision on Gibbs too, but he didn't like it. He wanted to go to him a couple fewer times in the passing game, but I say screw it. Just get the ball in that guy's hands, preferably to the right side of the line so Penei Sewell can get out in front.
Goff is going to – one thing I've noticed about him is that – and I think he kind of alluded to it. Sometimes he can be too careful to a fault, but at the same time, with the way this game is going, you can't blame him for putting the ball in his trusted playmakers to bring it home. So, hey, got the W, tip the cap.
Yeah, you got the win. You got the win. And sometimes a resilient win can be a wake-up call. Sometimes it can remind you what you're capable of because they haven't had to win a game like this year. This I know Goff didn't have 5 interceptions, but this was very reminiscent of Houston last year where they just kept finding ways. The defense, struggled but made stops. The offense struggled but hit big plays. Jake Bates delivers. Gibbs goes to the house. Lions are 7-4. Host the 7-3-1 Green Bay Packers in a hurry. We have not discussed mailbag plans this week. I'm assuming we'll just record after the game on Thursday and then figure out a mailbag between Thanksgiving and the Cowboys game on Thursday. That's probably going to work well with everybody's schedule.
Yeah.
Because we only have 2 days of availability before the Packers game. It's basically already Thursday in our world on a Monday through Saturday schedule.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, this is about to be a weird week. I'm probably about to go grab me some bunch of coffee because I already know I'm not sleeping.
Yeah. Hey, 1 p.m. game. It's 8:30 here at Ford Field. Last time we apologized for the ambient sound of crews cleaning up and the mysterious thing being set up on the field that we're not allowed to talk about.
Yep.
I apologized for it.
Yeah.
Not going to apologize because you guys said you liked it. But I think that's all we got for you. I apologize if we were a little off the rails today. This was an off the rails type of game.
I'm still trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, a win's a win. Obviously, a lot of things to clean up and get better.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out life without Sam Laporta, and that will continue. But Jahmyr Gibbs, he's good. He's very good.
As they said that one of my favorite movies, Coming to America, that boy good.
Yeah, and just to put Gibbs' day into perspective, only Barry Sanders in 91 and Cloyce Box in 1950 have had statistically packed days for the Lions. Historically good day. Shout out to producer Patrick for cleaning this one out. Shout out to you guys for all the questions the last couple of weeks. We'll stay in touch. Send the questions to dungeonofdoom@mlive.com. We'll use them. We'll figure them out. But we'll be back here in a hurry when the Lions host the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving. Game starts at 1 p.m. this year, not 12:30. Just a little note there for your viewing pleasures. We are MLive's Dungeon of Doom podcast. I'm Ben Raven. He's Kory Woods.
Peace.